Hello everyone, welcome to the Advancement Centre and welcome to the world of magic and miracles, where we join once again in that special connection that allows us all to feel one another and to feel the transmission in both directions, such that we have a conversation in a language that only each individual is aware of. So in meeting in that form, we develop a sense of existence that's supported even in the feeling of having no support. It's like you suddenly step into nowhere and find yourself fully aware of things that we're still attempting to explain with words. The biggest difficulty in explaining with words is if you're having an experience, you don't have any words. You only have words after the experience. Or you have an inkling of what it might be, and in fact we have no inkling of what anything is once we step forward and we all connect through the channels that we ourselves open. And the number of channels that you open can be unlimited. But while you're making the initial connection, you're very precise in what you open. Everything has to feel right. Nothing allows you to move forward unless it's perfection. And even though that makes you feel limited initially, you gain confidence at a very high rate, and you suddenly surge forward and allow all the interactions between yourself, your friends, the world, the universe, to all build to beyond anything you've ever known. And as it all comes together, it generates a secondary impulse that allows everyone to take another step. That secondary impulse can be felt. It's like a buzz that you're feeling now. It gives you something to stand on, something to propel you a little further, and something in a new reality that can be explained in the physical world. It's like another platform. But once you feel that platform, it goes flat, and you're then looking for more movement. And as you look for more movement, it occurs. And you accelerate forward, further into the world of your Creator, further into the unknown, to such an extent that you feel you're very familiar and you're in your home territory, beyond the measurement of infinity, that we have in the physical world. So as you step beyond infinity, your skills as a universal being start to show in every phase of your life. Physical, non-physical, and other. And you start to bubble and generate new energies and new fields that bring to life more of the living future that you have hidden in the background and defined as the future that you can't reach. But without definition, you are part of the future as well as the present. And that fills that part of you that's been empty for many eons. Because that feeling of future as well as present enhances your physical world. Once you enhance your physical world, it proceeds to enhance everybody's physical world. Not as a definition, but as a real living entity. So now you can feel you're part of something that is not definable. And even when I say part of, the fact is you are totally it. So whatever you build in others will appear in you. Whatever you give in energy flow will appear a millionfold back in your being, because it amplifies through numbers. What you send out affects everybody, and what everybody sends out affects you. So now that we are in a position where we can have some sort of understanding, it's time to actually use the fields that are being presented to you. And the only way we can explain those fields is to say that they're feelings. But they're actually inputs into your system, not just your body, but into that part of you that you can feel beyond the feelings of the body, beyond the feelings of the mind, and beyond the feeling of understanding. But in all that, we are progressing in an understanding at a whole different level to what we've been used to in the past. And once again, we delve into the areas where we don't need understanding. We do it in life every day. We get excited. We get a feeling. We get an urge. They're all beyond our understanding, but they're real. We get a sense of something happening, just like walking in the dark. You feel you're going to run into a wall and you stop. And sure enough, when you put your hand out, there's the wall. You can't explain how it happens, but you rely on it. So now we're in a new realm. We don't understand how it happens, but we rely on it. We rely on the movement, our ability to move our fields, to move our energy, to skip around the things that we really don't want to bump into, to move throughout creation. And experience the future of what's not in store for us, the future of what's in our field now. The good feeling, like the feeling you get after a long drought and it's going to rain. You don't even need a prediction. You feel it in the air. You feel it in something else. You just have a sense that it's going to happen. And you're living the sense of the future, even though you don't realize it. So now we're in a position where we can live the sense of the future and realize it. We can live the sense of the feedback that we just feel now, the acceptance that we've stood for too long in one place, and now we're all moving. As a human entity and as an individual, just like the ocean and a drop of water. The drop is an individual. The ocean, you can't separate the drop. But without all the drops, you wouldn't have the ocean. And each drop has a consciousness that affects the ocean. And each drop has a life that creates new life and enhances all life. Just as a drop of rain can enhance the quality and the output of the water system, because it's been on its trip out to the stars, into the clouds, and back to the ground, and collected everything on the way. And we, as individuals, are now able to do exactly that. Elevate out of our being, experience the unknown and the thrill of being free, and bring back all the gifts that we pick up along the way, from interactions, from living the future, and from picking up the hidden gifts that we've left along the way. The thrill of finding your own gifts hidden in plain sight is an amazing feeling. And your body jumps into life and generates a response that highlights it to everyone that you've found one of your gifts. It didn't have a name on it, and it was floating right in front of my face all my life. Now you can collect, send out the response into the collective, and be happy that it's gone to everyone. So all our experiences in everyday life now have depth. They have a special feeling of achievement that doesn't have to be measured. It doesn't have to meet a standard. And that can happen in a fraction of a second while everything else is happening around you. We have a name for a lot of it, and most of it's called realization. We suddenly realized something, or something was revealed to us that meant something. And we take that on and respond. But now, the fact that you used to look for an event or a happening can be forgotten. You can step forward, switch on, and experience the multitude of inputs that give you a thrill. And then you can step past them and take on the next without having to hold on to anything to keep yourself upright. We used to have to spin our energy at very high speed to get out of the fields of the earth that we were in, so that we could travel into the stars. I remember the path that I used to have to take, and the speed that you spun your energy was enormous. And we've gone way past that, to where our energy flips around in random shapes. We don't even have to have a uniform infinite sign to close off the loop. We don't have to have a balanced system. It's so fast and so enormous in variety that it just keeps flipping around everywhere and keeping you upright, taking you to wherever you want to go, and generating enormous amounts of energy to feed the world around you, to feed the people around you, and to feed the universe. And things just start to happen because they all fall into tune. You don't have to drive something to its end result. You see it and you forget it. And you pursue the next thing beyond where you could actually imagine being. And then something in the world will disturb you, and you'll change direction. And you might even lose a total feeling of being somewhere else. You get pulled back into what you call your reality. But then there's the possibility of making a conscious connection puts you back into that field, connects you with everyone and everything. And I used to say it takes 0.2 of a second. In fact, it's quicker than that. But I used to say that so that you could get an idea of how much time it would take if we kept consciously connecting every time we thought we had to. At 0.2 of a second, you'll be really battling to use up half an hour in a whole day, even if you forget how to connect and you had to keep doing it. So time-wise, conscious connection is a very, very small part of your everyday life. And it's that small that you don't even have to bother about it. Just know that it's possible and it happens. And know that as you connect, everything connects back to you in a flow of harmony that feels like intense vibration at times. But in fact, it's only intense vibration if you hold it. If you try to hold on to something, then you disturb the actual final outcome. If you just let it all go where it's got to go, it's a great thrill rather than a vibration. And there's no strain on your physical body. And you don't have to do anything. So as we step further into nowhere, our vision opens up. And all the things that we thought we had to judge as right or wrong, or true or false, or imagination, just all flood into the same pool, that pool of knowing that everything fits everywhere in its correct place, in its correct balance, so that the movement in your world is fulfilled and the movement in other people's worlds is supported. And in that support, we gain more than what we give. As we support people's lives without addressing the people, we feel the result immediately. And we may never meet the people that we're supporting. But it's like being in a crowd. As you walk through the crowd, you don't run into anybody. If someone starts to trip, you help them. And you may never meet them. And it's the same as we step forward. We may never meet all those entities that we feel, but we don't need to meet them. We meet and greet every second. And it's a beautiful feeling. It's like all your friends have just come out of the movie theater and you're just standing at the steps. and they walk towards you, and you recognize so many. And they walk past, and you get a tremendous thrill. And you've had that connection, but no speech, no waving of hands, no touch, just a beautiful feeling of all those fields interacting with yours. That's what we've got ahead of us. As we move through everybody's field, we experience everything about them. Not about the personality, but about the gifts that they have for this world and beyond. The movement of life is starting to become a real thing. And what is transmitted from each person is getting rid of the measuring system that we've had in the world in the past. There's no such thing as judgment. There's no such thing as physical force and many other things, because they're all in a limited field. And force itself can't be measured unless it has a reaction. You can put force on the air and you can't measure it. You push your hand up and try and push it, and it just moves. If you push on a wall, you can measure that, because it's a limited system. And we've just moved into where there's no walls. There's no limited system. There's no restraints. And what we feel is order is actually totally random and without any reaction at all. It's like watching the colors as you swirl different colors in white paint. And you have it in a container and you put some drops of color in it. You start stirring with a stick. You watch how it all moves around. And it doesn't seem to mix the colors until you put a lot of effort into mixing the colors. They'll just keep swirling around and making great patterns. That's where we're at. We can swirl around and make great patterns and move on and walk through another set of fields and experience the joy of what you would call personal enlightenment just by experiencing somebody else's field. The senses that belong to our body have not been used yet. And until we incorporate this phenomenon of mixing our fields without them actually touching, we won't experience that bubbly feeling unless there's some special occasion. But I can assure you that bubbly feeling is there all the time. And there you go. It enhances everybody's feeling just because you mention it. and it's there all the time and available for everybody, every moment of their life. But it's an individual experiment, one that you can do or not do. But if you're going to do it, don't use any effort. Don't use any determination, and don't use any plans. Use the fervent reaction of no reaction. And you will determine at a much higher level than your brain can exactly what comes next. It's like someone has decided to get over an injury that might be impossible. You can stand near that person and you know beyond a doubt they're going to recover or they're going to get better, even though there's no proof. Because that determination that can't be measured is one that comes into light as soon as you step into the world of magic and miracles and allow yourself freedom to be the magician and create the magic. Once again, nobody has to tell anyone how to do anything. But we do have to demonstrate how we do it ourselves so that we can find out how good we are. And we find that out through the immediate response of those energy fields that are created by anyone and everyone and left there for us to experience without a name, without an enclosure, just sitting in midair, ready for us to just enter the field and go, wow, that was good. I'll do it again. I'll go another one. Wow, that was good. And before long, you're walking from one beautiful experience to another, day after day after day after day, second after second, and it never stops. This is eternal life. This is how you enter that field. And we are probably the first to be able to do that en masse from the physical realm. We've stepped ahead of what was even intended. We've created a world beyond all worlds for us to explore before we even know what any of it is. We've done it over many, many hundreds of years now to be experienced in the physical realm. And when you talk about seeing new advancements in technology in space travel, in freaky things that change your life, they're nothing compared to what you're going to walk through in the next 24 hours. So enjoy every moment and stay connected. Experiment, move forward, feel the future, just like you feel the weather. Feel everything around you and allow me at this point to wish you all a perfect life, perfect health, and an extremely magic future. Thank you.